Nearly a quarter century ago, on the Hawaiian island of Maui, a group of audacious adventure athletes created the ultimate endurance test: an open water swim in the rough surf of the Pacific, a mountain bike ride up steep, winding track, and a grueling trail run through the forest and across the sand. With that groundbreaking race, the sport of XTERRA was born, and in the decades since, it has grown in prominence and reach, expanding to 5 continents and drawing the highest caliber off-road triathletes in the world.
Hamish Carter is the XTERRA World Champion.
To remote and rugged courses in some of the planet's most spectacular locales. And in late October, after 8 months of races, which showcased unprecedented talent and depth in the elite ranks, the 2019 season finished with the 24th XTERRA World Championship, held back at the birthplace of the sport on Maui. At stake in this year's final XTERRA race, $100,000 in prize money and the glory that goes with the title, World Champion. Every autumn, the best XTERRA athletes in the world descend on Kapalua Resort on Maui's northwest coast. And even for those who aren't challenging for a podium spot, qualifying for the race is a career-defining achievement, justifying the hours, months, and years of training. For an age group XTERRA athlete, Maui represents a personal Olympics. It's a race, but also an arrival, an accomplishment worth celebrating, in a place that's something akin to paradise. Going into the 24th XTERRA World Championship, Flora Duffy was the woman to beat. The 32-year-old, who represented her native Bermuda at each of the last 3 Summer Olympics, won XTERRA World titles at Kapalua Resort in 2014, 2015, 2016, and 2017, before injury kept her out of the event last year.
I sat out most of 2019, only started my season in August, so this will be my 5th race this year. So for me, I usually come into this race off a full season of racing, pretty high with confidence, knowing my form is there, I just know how the racing hurt feels. And this year I'm coming in with a lot of unknowns, but I have to take a lot of confidence that I have won this race 4 times, and you don't just win this race by fluke, you know, you kind of need to know what you're doing. So just really try to go back to that memory as I come in here off of an injury, which is always a pretty daunting and unknown way to come into a race. But I wouldn't have come here if I didn't think I had a chance of winning my 5th title. Of course, that would be like an incredible thing to do and such an honor to be one of the first person to win 5 XTERRA World titles.
The athlete with the best chance to keep Duffy from achieving XTERRA history was the defending champion, Leslie Patterson of Scotland.
The season's been up and down, actually. Motivation, health, fitness, all over the place, but the fitness is the best it's been in years, so hopefully I can throw down on Sunday. So the toughest competition is definitely Flora. I think to beat her, I have to have my perfect race.
Unlike the women's race, the men's race was wide open, something the defending champion, Ra Mackerson of Costa Rica, readily acknowledged.
Every athlete that's going to be out there on Sunday is a great athlete, and they're going to do their best, just like me, be out here doing my best. I don't really focus on the competition or the other athletes. I focus on myself, and I wish everybody the best luck.
Among those with a chance to dethrone Ackerson were Bradley Weiss of South Africa, the 2017 world champion.
After winning the title in 2017, I think every time I come back, I'll think I can win. Whether I truly can win or not is a different story, but yeah, I absolutely think I can win. There's no part of the race where I think I will be at any type of significant disadvantage to other athletes. So I think I just need to try and focus on on executing a a perfect race, because it will take a perfect race to win here. Everybody is really at an incredibly high level, and it seems like they continue to improve year on year. And yeah, I look forward to trying to play my part on Sunday and be a part of the race. And if I can win it, that'll be amazing.
XTERRA Adventures is presented by Tea Tree, eco-minded hair care infused with natural botanicals. Discover the natural magic of Tea Tree. The Maui Visitors and Convention Bureau. Visit gohawaii.com/Maui. This segment is brought to you by Tea Tree by Paul Mitchell. Back on Maui at the XTERRA World Championship. Three-time champion Ruben Ruzafa is the class of the field on the mountain bike. But Weiss knows the Spaniard is a mere mortal during the final stage of the race, the run portion.
There's no doubt that Ruben Ruzafa will get himself to the front of this race, provided he has no mechanical issues or anything like that. Physically, he's just able to ride a mountain bike incredibly fast. Ruben has been outrun every year for the past 4 years, so he's definitely not unbeatable. And it's important just to remember that on the bike, that if he does get away, you know, that I am capable of running him back down.
Also capable of running down Ruzafa, or anyone, were the two French Artours, Artur Forisset and Artur Serrier. Josiah Middaugh, the 2015 world champion and the best American XTERRA athlete ever, was also a contender, as were Sam Osborne of New Zealand, the Pan American Tour champion, and Karsten Madsen of Canada, who learned to manage a serious cardiac condition this season while delivering the best results of his career.
I do believe I can win this race. Indications in training look good. Obviously, there is a laundry list of other guys who are wanting to win as well, so it's going to be an absolute dogfight. I mean, it's world champs. There's a collection of, 10 guys that could win this race on the day.
When I think of XTERRA Maui, I think of painfully beautiful.
When I think of XTERRA Maui, I think of, like triathlon amplified. We take your usual swim bike run, we make it more extreme, more hardcore, and add a whole lot of skills into it.
XTERRA is an amazing lifestyle because you meet wonderful people and see amazing places.
XTERRA for me, it means racing is in beautiful places, discovering some beautiful things, people, countries, landscapes.
My favorite thing about XTERRA overall is I think the ability it gives me to, in my training and in racing, to see parts of the world that I would have never seen on my own, and giving me the opportunity to go off-road and explore the wilderness and the nature that surrounds us.
My favorite thing about XTERRA is facing your deepest fears and trying to overcome them. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
It's a perfect way to discover new places with sports.
The XTERRA World Championship here in Maui, for me, is where all the best athletes from all over the world come out to just shoot it out for one day and see who's the best on that one day.
Sunday, October 27th, race day at Kapalua Resort on Maui. And in the morning, the heavens opened up to offer competitors a traditional Hawaiian blessing before the rain gave way to stunning blue skies and bright sunshine. 6 former XTERRA World Champions were among the more than 600 athletes, representing 42 U.S. states and 40 countries, gathered on DT Fleming Beach for the start of the championship. The elite athletes took to the ocean first for the 1-mile rough water swim. With a 21-minute and 13-second split, Sam Osborne of New Zealand took the early lead, followed closely by Maxime Chanet of France and Bradley Weiss of South Africa. Incredibly, Flora Duffy of Bermuda, the 4-time XTERRA World Champ, swam with the lead group of men, trailing only Osborne heading into Transition 1. This segment is brought to you by Maui Gym Sunglasses. The competitors headed on to the redesigned bike course at Kapalua Resort, a grueling 2-lap, 20-mile tour of the West Maui Mountains, made trickier and slicker by the early morning downpour.
The new bike course was excellent. It's way more technical than the previous years. Loved the 2 laps. Loved that the elites got their own start, so we had clear run of the course. Yeah, it was very technical, and the bit of rain that we got just before the race start really changed the conditions.
On the first lap of the bike, the New Zealander Osborne, the leader after the swim, and the South African Vice took to the front. The 2 stars from the Southern Hemisphere were soon joined by Spain's Ruben Ruzafa, who had come out of the water a minute back of the leaders, but asserted his mountain bike mastery, laying down the fastest bike split for the 7th straight year, despite some struggles with the wet conditions.
In the bike, I try to take the head of the race the fastest as I can, but saving energy for the run. And finally, I had 2 or 3 crashes in the bike with a tree or slippery parts.
The course changes have been incredible. XTERRA have done an incredible job at changing up the course and making sure that we have something that's truly favors mountain bikers, and that's what it was this year. And I knew that would favor Ruben. Ruben came through with about, he caught me at the start of the 2nd lap, and I knew that I could ride with him, but I just knew that I had to be pretty cautious once we got to the trail. So we pushed really hard on the climbs and stayed steady on the descents.
Vice and Ruzafa came into Transition 2 together, with Osborne a little over a minute back. Osborne was just 16 ticks up on Artur Serrier, the flying Frenchman with the best closing speed in the field. In the women's elite race, Duffy's closest pursuer was the Scotswoman Leslie Patterson, who had won the world title in 2018 when Duffy was out with a torn post-tibial tendon.
Yeah, she's an amazing athlete, you know, really in a league of her own, and one of those types of athletes that doesn't come around very often. So yeah, it's good to have her back, and well, not that good to have her back. but yeah, no, she's really, you know, really impressive.
Duffy's bike split was close to 6 minutes faster than Patterson's, but while the women's result was a foregone conclusion, the men's race was set up for a thrilling finish as Ruzafa and Vice went into the run in a dead heat.
I was pretty confident that I could outrun him, but yeah, there were a few other guys on the hunt from behind, so I knew I had to keep myself focused and kept pushing really hard. Like, I haven't pushed that hard on a run in a while. Just really wanted to consolidate my lead and make sure that nobody could catch me.
About 4 kilometers into the 6.5-mile trail run around Kapalua Resort, Vice made his move, separating from Ruzafa. Meanwhile, behind him, 25-year-old Artur Serrier, who was in 4th place after the first 2 legs of the race, passed Sam Osborne about 3 kilometers into the run, and then sprinted by Ruzafa to move into 2nd position after 8 kilometers.
I was very worried about Artur Serrier. He's been running incredibly well. He ran 3 minutes into me in Europe a couple months ago, so I was pretty worried that if he's too close, he might be able to run across. But yeah, in the last descent, I got a split of about 90 seconds, and I knew that should be enough to get it done. So yeah, incredibly happy.
Running with a healthy fear of the Frenchman, Vice kept pushing, delivering a run split of 42 minutes and 10 seconds, the 3rd fastest of the day, and enough to give him the victory by more than a minute. It was his second XTERRA World title in 3 years.
Winning in 2017 was the highlight of my career, and to back it up now in 2019 with another world title is, it's definitely a highlight of my career for sure. The XTERRA World Champs is just such a special race here on Maui, and it brings out the best off-road triathletes in the world, forces everybody to be at their very best in order to win. And starting out the day, it's really difficult to say who the favorites are. You can look on paper as much as you like and see how others have competed, but once that gun goes, it's kind of every man for himself. And I was very, very happy with how I managed to execute my race.
Also executing a brilliant race was Serie, who turned in the fastest run of the day to move up from 4th place to 2nd.
It's my first year here in a pro category. I was maybe in fire. I swim fast, ride smart and run fast. For me it's like a victory because Brad Levi's was too strong for me today.
Muzafa ran well to hang on for 3rd, while Osborne, the leader after the swim, fell 1 spot shy of the podium in 4th. In the women's race, Flora Duffy, who had a lead of more than 9 minutes after the swim and bike, was cruising to victory. But even with an insurmountable lead, it wasn't until the final stretch that she allowed herself to enjoy her accomplishment.
But I never wanted to think I was going to win until I was right on the finishing chute, because with XTERRA, you never know what can happen.
Duffy crossed the finish line in 2 hours, 49 minutes, and 23 seconds, a time that would have placed her 17th in the men's professional race, and an astounding 14 minutes ahead of the 2nd place woman, Leslie Patterson.
The moment before I'm crossing the finish line, it's a little bit of a relief, but then extreme happiness. For me, sort of running along the beach, it started to set in that what I'd achieved, and just extremely happy that I could do that, and I could have my husband here sharing the moment with me.
XTERRA Adventures is presented by the Hawaiian Islands. Visit GoHawaii.com, Hawaii's official tourism site. XTERRA, racing and apparel for your active lifestyle. Visit XTERRAplanet.com. Behind Duffy and Patterson, the fight for 3rd place was fierce. Morgan Rioux of France, who was 6th after the swim and the bike, turned in the 2nd fastest run of the day to move up to 4th. But more than anyone, it was 40-year-old Helena Karaskova competing in her final XTERRA race who saved her best for last. The Czech woman was 5th coming off the bike, but passed Lizzie Orchard of New Zealand and then Susie Snyder of the US to place 3rd in the world in her career curtain call.
Yeah, I think it was a really amazing race today for me. Everything from the morning going so fast. I just jumping to the water and swam, and then I was on the bike. It was like I catch one girl by one, and it was so motivated for me.
Karaskova, who was inducted into the XTERRA Hall of Fame 2 days before the race, intends to become a coach and spend more time with her family, including 9-year-old daughter Maya. But the excellence of the performance she delivered in her final competition was not lost on the 2nd place finisher, Patterson.
I'm 39, 40 next year, so I've been in the sport a long time, so it's nice to still be competitive. And interestingly, Helena, that was 3rd, is 40, so it's the old girls that are still up there.
Starting an hour after the elite fields, nearly 600 age group competitors representing 40 different nations embarked on what would be, for many of them, the most important event of their athletic lives. Maxi Morales, a 43-year-old from Argentina, completed the course in just under 2 hours and 51 minutes to take the overall amateur title. On the women's side, Zendriska Zemanova, a 39-year-old mother from the Czech Republic, successfully defended her amateur world title, winning in 3 hours, 15 minutes, and 20 seconds, a time that would have placed her 9th in the elite women's race. And there were plenty of other inspirational athletes, including Robbie Day, a 17-year-old phenom from Colorado, who won his age group in 2 hours, 55 minutes.
And Coach Calvin Zariski of Canada, who went under the 3-hour barrier and won his 9th world title, this time in the 50 to 54 age division.
Anita Coyle, a mother of 4 from Utah, who early in 2019 lost her husband suddenly, showed her reserves of strength and resilience in qualifying for Maui. There were impressive performances in the physically challenged division, including Willie Stewart, a 57-year-old American who lost his arm in a construction accident as a teenager. And hundreds of other athletes drew strength from the spectators and each other in completing the legendary race. As the sun set on the 2019 season, champions were crowned, legacies were embellished, friendships were formed, and the community of happy warriors celebrated the unique and beautiful spirit that is XTERRA.